Thank you very much. And Jared Fishman with the Air Force Pundit, you were first online. Why don't you get us started?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. And if there's a way we could get that presentation or the PowerPoint slides you're relying on, that'd be great too if you get those to Mr. Holt down the line. My question is...
I memorized that. I memorized that. I didn't read that.
If there's a way maybe you could discuss a little bit, aside from the statistics, some of the feeling on the ground. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of even the mainstream press back here in the States and in England are reporting on the tremendous strides, but perhaps you could give us some of the flavor of what you're seeing with the Iraqis, both in the Army and the police and in the citizenry, the CLCs, that you're seeing in Madain-Kata.
Well, just one example. This town north in Madain-Kata, a place called Narwan. Just most recently, and I think I mentioned it, we established a combat outpost inside Narwan, right inside Narwan, adjacent to the Iraqi police station and the joint security site. And before that, you would not see people walking around, going to the market, kids, women. The place is almost a ghost town. When you would drive through there, you would hardly see anything. Just the other day, we had their General Retired Barry McCaffrey, who I work for in Desert Shield, Desert Storm over here. We walked out of the patrol base, out of the cop, down through the market. There must have been 100 kids following us, women, men. We had a sheikh, a concerned citizen leader, that was walking beside General McCaffrey with the Iraqi media and Western media there. He was not afraid to be seen with coalition forces. He was walking with us and discussing the Concerned Citizens Program. And just today, talking about the National Police, just today I went to one of many of these little junior leader programs that the Iraqi police is putting on, and 10 local police just graduated from that local police academy and are heading back up to Narwan to provide the security for the town of Narwan. And that's just one instance in Narwan, one town. I would tell you that's happening in all the towns. When we first got here, the way I know this is the way this works is the Madain-Kata before, there's maybe one or two coveys that came out every other day, every third day, across the bridge into the Madain-Kata. As they crossed the bridge, all the extremists would call their cell phones, so everybody put their stupid stuff down and wave at them. So when we first came over and we started planting ourselves in, you wouldn't see many people because they didn't know if we'd be here, they didn't know to trust us, and basically the extremists were still intimidating, and the people were reconning us. About 2 months into it, they really came at us. We put them down. About 3 or 4 months into it, now they're out. The economy is growing. There's more shops. There's more stuff in the shops. We've captured over 500 insurgents, a lot of them from local national tips where the concerned citizens or a local national walks up to the forward operating base, says, hey, that guy over there has never been in this town before. He drove in with 2 big trucks, a tarp over top of it. I don't think it's right, and we don't want him in here if he's going to bring trouble. Can you go take care of that problem? And those things are happening on a daily basis now. So there's your differences. I hope that answers your question.
And Andrew.
Hey, Jerry, you got any follow-ups, or can I go?
Go ahead.
Great, thanks. Colonel Andrew Lubin from the Military Observer. I appreciate that you taking the time to talk with us, sir. I've got a couple questions, if you don't mind. We were talking back in the end of September with Lieutenant Colonel Ken Agee down in your area. And the PRTs are just coming on. We're just coming on board the following. How are your PRTs doing now?
Well, Ken Agee doesn't work for me, but I've known him for about 10 years.
I thought you mentioned Arab Jabor. I know he's right. I thought he was in your.
Yeah, he's across. He's in 2nd Brigade 3rd ID. He's across the river from me.
Oh, okay.
But I got an EPRT. I got an EPRT the same time he did.
Okay.
And we didn't have an EPRT when we first got here. So at the National Training Center, we trained and we built our own NPRT. And I put the deputy commander in charge of governance and economics, my BSTB commander in charge of economics, and all the brigade staff officers filled all the slots. And we started from day one working the governance and economics. And that has built a sound base. But around that same time, we received Mr. George White, a State Department rep. We received a USAID rep. We just received our agriculture rep last night. And it's helped us tremendously. I mean, we're going to take this bad boy to the next level. I just received his brief after being here for about 30 days, where he has showed me what we're going to do for the next year and to synchronize from the great things we already started. And now Mr. White, who is a subject matter expert, not like us, just trying to make it happen. He's a subject matter expert, so he can switch us and Asmus in the right direction so we can make things happen. He goes to all of the COTA meetings once a week with the COTA mayor and the NAHIA directors. He's fully involved. He's out doing combat patrols. He goes out and surveys the markets to see which ones are ready to go, which ones need some micro loans, which one needs some micro grants. And he's working at the brick factory and a couple big business sites as well. So that is the guy that we really need. And it's really at the right time because security is down to the level right now where we can really continue to apply pressure to the extremists by increasing in economy and governance. And these guys are doing a good job. I'd like more, though. See, they got about 112 of these guys in the Baghdad PRT for one. I have 3 the Medan Kata. I'd love to get some more EPRT and get some more of these guys out in our EPRT to make it a little bit more robust, and I'm working that through my chain of command.
Great.
But it's definitely working.
Can you talk to us a bit more about what they're doing? You mentioned micro loans. You mentioned the brick factory. Are you able to be a bit more specific?
Right. Yes, sir, I am. Along the economic line of operations, for example, Mr. White, who is an economist, is a subject matter expert. He goes out and looks at different markets, and he can actually tell you on which shelves, if you got this product, the market is a different level, or is that, where you could help them in this way or you can help them that way. So we have this thing called micro grants, which is between $2,500 and $10,000, where we put them through a school to validate them. We accept them, then we give them $2,500, and they start their business, or they just restock their shelves. And then we come back and check and make sure they're using the money in an appropriate manner. That is a grant. And that gets them kick-started, and he identifies those. And then the markets that may be a little bit better, he'll work the micro loan piece, which is a little bit more responsible, maybe a little bit more money, but that guy has to pay it back. So you can see that starts the banking system within the Medan Kata, and he's a subject matter expert on that. We have a lot of state-owned businesses here that he's embraced, and he's trying to get work. For one example is something called the Brick Factory. It's up east of Narwan. And he's identified up there that brick factory really needs some generator power and black oil to get it going. Right now, it employs about 2,000 people. In Narwan, there's a 100,000 man population. And if you figure, that's 100,000 total. With 10 people in a family, there is 10,000 jobs that could be given in the brick factory to employ the majority of Narwan, and we know that could be an issue. Just getting them jobs gets them off the street from doing stupid stuff or going with the extremists.
Oh, exactly.
That's the kind of
the same thing. Yeah, that's how they brought back Anbar. That basically get them working, get them
right.
off the street. Right.
That's the subject matter expertise that he brings.
Great. Would it be, when you get a chance, it would be possible to get him on the phone for you, because we've talked to a lot of PRTs, but nobody on your radio. Yeah. That'd be great talking to them.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Andrew.
Next one of these, I'll get him out there on one of these.
Colonel, also follow up. When I was out last winter in Mamadaya with 10,215, they had a major problem with JAM, who basically turned the population from, say, 80-20 Sunni Shia to your 70-30 Shia Sunni. Is that still continuing, or what? Is JAM still rolling out of the city down to you, or have you blocked it off now?
All I can tell you is what's happened in my area of operation. And there is a combination of Sunni extremists, Shia extremists, and Persian influence in Ayo Hammer. The Sunni extremists, as we've done very, very well with, Narwan was Shia extremist, and now we went in there, we killed or captured 6 or 7 key leaders, and we have intel reports to say that the Shia extremists that are up there no longer want to be part of the organization. The Shia extremists office up there no longer wants to stay there because the people don't accept this, the coalition forces are up there, etc. So that's a good example. That didn't happen before in Narwan, Jizr Diyala, or Al-Wahida. Along the river on the west, we have the Sunni extremists that we're continuing to battle, and that's working very well as well. Just today, with concerned citizens and the Iraqi security forces and the battalion 115 infantry from the Hammer Brigade conducted Bowie Sunrise 2, which was a clearing operation just north of Salam Pak. Our focus for the next 5 to 6 months is to get in, clear, and control Salam Pak, because we think that's the last pocket of extremism, Sunni extremism, within the Medan Kata. And just north of that, we're in the process of now clearing and establishing concerned citizen checkpoints so the extremists can't come back. And that'll apply pressure on Salam Pak. In reference to the Persian influence, early on, we captured something like 36 rockets, 107 millimeter, that were pointed directly at Hammer. One of my UAV operators, a sergeant, was conducting his morning fly around looking for any unusual things, and he identified it, veered in, and there was 36 rockets on launchers pointed at FOB Hammer that would have been terrible if they would have gone off and killed us and fired at us. And what we did is we went there, of course, dismantled them, had the fingerprints, put in the intel system. That drove us back into Narwan to capture our HVI number one at that point, a guy named Hader Yunus, who, by the way, in his house, he had the videotape, the CD of putting all that stuff together and et cetera. So we got some good intel from him. We continue to use that, and that helps us with the Persian influence with the rockets. And also the EFPs have increased a little bit in the Medan Kata. We haven't seen some in quite a while, but we were up to about 15. And as you know, that's another indicator of Persian influence as well. So all three, we got all three out here in the Medan Kata, but we seem to be working them all pretty good.
Okay, Jared, or can I continue?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Colonel, can you talk a bit more about about your concerned citizen group? A lot of the other general officers we've talked to have been concerned that the Sunnis who are trying to get involved are being stonewalled by the GOI and by the local Shias. Are you running into that, or they get along pretty well?
In the Hammer Brigade's area of operation, we got almost 4,000 concerned citizens, a little bit over 4,000. It's about a 50-50 mix of Sunni and Shia. And in some concerned citizen groups, the one up in this place called Kargalia, it's Sunni and Shia working together as one team.
Okay, great.
Like I said, I had 24 Sheikh for the first time. I've been trying to get this, and about 8 months into it, just a couple weeks ago, I had 24 Sheikhs, the leaders, the Sheikh leaders of the Medan Kata, up here at Hammer with the Iraqi security forces, with the civil leadership, big coalition forces, Sunni and Shia, all concerned about bad people not doing bad things to the people of the Medan Kata. So it seems to be working well up here in the Medan Kata.
Great. Are you paying them, or how are these people funded now? Is the GOI paying them?
Right now, what we do is we do CERT projects. For example, they put in for a security contract, which enables them to secure their neighborhood. We look at it, we approve it, and we pay them for 90 days at 30-day increments, and then every 90 days that contract goes up for a relook. And there's certain metrics that they have to be able to show us that they're doing stuff before we'll redo the contract.
Okay, great.
So it's currently still being paid by coalition.
Okay. Are you getting GOI assistance? Are they involved in your AO at all, or how?
Yes, it's getting better. Put it this way: just about a week ago, we were up with Colonel Retired Ollie North and Major General Lynch at this place called Patrol Base Assassin, and Colonel Ahmad, the 3-1 National Police Iraqi Security Force Brigade Commander, stated that the concerned citizens will eventually become part of the Iraqi police or the national police or the Iraqi army. So that's the way they'll get them into the Iraqi security forces. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing GOI putting their hands on it, and they're going to take them into the Iraqi police, national police, or the Iraqi army.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Well, we're just about out of time here, sir. Do you have any closing statements, closing thoughts for us?
I would just tell you in the Medan Kata, before we got here, before the surge, Sunni extremists, Shia extremists, and Persian influence are doing what they want to do out there. They no longer can do that. And it's just evident that the surge was the right thing to do, because inside Baghdad just a couple of days ago they had 2 attacks. 2. That's unheard of. And we're at the front door checking ID cards of any of the bad guys or accelerants that are going into Baghdad. So the soldiers of the Hammer Brigade, in conjunction with the Iraqi security forces and the concerned citizens and the good people of Iraq, have done what we were tasked to do, is to block accelerants from getting into Baghdad. But it's coming at a cost. And I just can't say enough thankful to the family members of the soldiers that we lost and the soldiers that are wounded. My heart will always, during this time of the year especially, will always go out to them, and they will always be part of the Sledgehammer Brigade combat team. And thank you for having us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us here at the Bloggers Roundtable. Colonel Wayne Grigsby, the 3rd Heavy Brigade Combat Team Commander, 3rd Infantry Division, Multinational Division Center. And Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Colonel, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.